In 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Off the Cut.
Dude, I haven't touched any wood in a long time.
I want to put my face in that grass.
Or you're trying to make eye contact with a person.
Maybe you're looking at it from the wrong angle.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'm glad we got the explicit out of the way early.
That was a good one.
That was a good one.
That immediately smelled like watermelon.
Oh,
yeah.
A lot of companies are coming out with watermelon flavors now. I gotta say, I'm into it. I like it.
Well, we'll circle back on this.
Okay.
Welcome to Off the Cut episode 156 for Tuesday, March of not 11th, typo there, March 18th, 2025. And although Simple Truth just came out with strawberry watermelon seltzer, they have not come out with any incredible tools, but the sponsor of our podcast, kmtools.com, certainly has.
That's right. I'm waiting for Jonathan to put out a sawdust flavored seltzer water because I would buy cases of that.
Like how they put out those candles that are like mahogany and musk.
Exactly. You know, these flavored waters, it's just like the very hint of a flavor. So you can have just like a hint of pine in there. And I bet people would drink that.
This one tastes like cedar.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Who wouldn't want to sip a nice cedar while they're relaxing on their patio?
Or like some of those hard wax oils smell like, I think, almost like a bubble gum. You're like, oh, this is a Rubio flavored.
I was just going to say like a Rubio flavored seltzer water.
Yeah. Well, you know that you can actually pick up Rubio Monaco and all the Rubio Monaco accessories from kmtools.com.
You did a Hank Hill there for a second. Rubio Monaco and Rubio Monaco accessories.
Yeah. Wait, what's that from?
King of the Hill. Don't you remember King of the Hill back in the day? He was like, I sell propane and propane accessories.
Oh, I feel like I've seen that clip. I never really watched the show all that much.
Oh, it's a good show. It's worth it. It was back in the day. It used to be like Simpsons were on at 8 p.m. and then King of the Hill had the slot directly afterwards.
Yeah. But you know what they didn't have?
They didn't have tools in their damn. I forgot the tagline.
I was going to say they don't have the Katz Moses Woodworkers with Disabilities Fund.
Oh, that's true. They definitely didn't have that.
Yeah, because that puts tools and resources into the hands of folks who need it most.
And it's funded by a portion of every single sale on kmtools.com. So if you buy something from their store, you can actually tell yourself that you are doing a little bit of charity work while you're doing your shopping.
Oh, I never thought about that.
I know, right? That's a new angle that we have to explore.
Yeah, it's like, sure, I picked up all sorts of woodworking and woodworking accessories, but I also donated money.
Exactly. You're helping fund a little something for you, a little something for somebody else. Think of it that way.
Yeah. Well, everything over at kmtools.com is made for woodworkers by woodworkers. So it's either designed directly by Jonathan and his team or by the folks on the internet that you see on YouTube that you like.
All our buddies.
All of our friends. Or it's thoroughly tested by Jonathan before any of it goes in the store. So it's all high quality stuff. None of that Temu crap that you see sitting around.
Right. And the best part is every single month he gives us $50 to give away to some of our lovely patrons.
Yeah. Not tonight. That's the first episode of the month. We pick do a random generator through our Patreon list. So if you go over to patreon.com/offthecutpodcast, sign up for any tier, automatically entered to win, and you unlock the after show, the bonus show, the extended epised. I mean, whatever you want to call it, it's there.
Yeah. And plus the Discord and, just our undying gratitude in general.
And to give you an idea, this show is usually an hour long. Our after show is usually an hour long. Last week, did we go over 2 hours for the after show?
It was like 1:45, 1:30 or something. We could have kept going longer. Like, honestly, I was getting a little I was getting a little woozy towards the end because I hadn't had anything to eat.
I know.
But Keith kept bringing up like good point after good point, like topics that I wanted to talk about. He kept being like, oh, what about this? And what about that? It's like, God, I want to keep going, but I need to.
So in the business, this is what we like to call foreshadowing. if you guys enjoyed our discussion with Keith,
Oh yeah.
We might be discussing more things with Keith
Yes.
and maybe someone else too
Yes.
that regularly talks with Keith. But I don't want to say too much.
Yeah, we haven't worked out the details, but yeah, you can put 2 and 2 together. I think you can draw a line.
Little bird, little bird has something to say. But hey, well, let's get the administrative things out of the way. We have to give our sincere apologies to everybody who tuned in tonight.
Yeah, the star of the show is missing.
Deric's not here, so
yeah, so you just have us.
Which
sucks.
Back to the old days. I guarantee our viewership drops dramatically.
100%.
Deric's not here tonight.
We shouldn't have said anything because people would be waiting with bated breath. Like, I'm sure Deric's just being quiet. He's just waiting for a turn to talk because most people don't. They just listen, right? So, yeah.
Not everybody watches it on YouTube, but you can if you want to interact with the live stream. Post things on there now.
Sure.
Well, we got our buddy John from Biscuit Tree. Joe from Delaware Valley Workshop, Josh at Sawdust Builds. That's who I'm seeing right now. Well, it's because really it's the only people active in the chat right now. But if you want to join in, we're there. And maybe one of these days we'll get monetized on YouTube for this thing.
Yeah, I wonder. I haven't checked that little counter in a while.
Dude,
we gotta be.
It's not happening.
No, it's not happening. All right. Well, we're like halfway there subscriber wise. I assume we've probably racked up.
Are we really?
Watch hours. We got 412 subscribers. Come on, that's pretty good.
All right. Yeah, halfway there. Well, I don't want to get my hopes up because if we're there in watch time, then I'll just be hammering for people to subscribe,
begging people to subscribe.
Well, it is tax season. If you want to do some community service, go over YouTube and type in Off the Cut Podcast and subscribe.
I don't want to do my taxes, man. It's so much work to go through everything, itemize all your receipts, all your invoices.
Okay, dude. I'm telling you, I know we talked about this when John from Biscuit Tree was on. I hired a accountant that does everything. Dude, it is the best thing we've ever done, especially because this year, because we got married like halfway through the year. We bought a house halfway through the year. Then we're in different cities, so like depending on the locality here, you have different tax rates and stuff. And then we did all of these, like, we got a new HVAC system. We did all this stuff for the garage and this and that. And he's like, you can actually take a portion based on like the square footage of your house for all of these home improvements that are somewhat recouped by. Dude, it's the stuff that he's like, did you do this? Did you do this? Did you do this? Did you do this? It's insane.
This is why, see, what I do is I put together all my information and then I have a CPA or an accountant look it over and then do these things. But if somebody tells you ahead of time, or if you just like kick everything to them, it's even better.
Right.
Yeah. Because you don't know. As a normal person, you don't know. The tax code is so effing complicated.
Right.
You would never be able to navigate it unless you made it your entire career.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, I don't know this stuff. Like, he's just like, when he asks something, he's like, what's your cell phone bill a month? I'm like, well, I put it under my like personal card. He goes, yeah, well, we can deduct it from the business because at least a percentage of that is business use. I was like, oh, okay. And then like electric at the house, like you could write off a portion of the electric in your apartment. And your internet and like all that.
All these things.
Small potatoes, but it adds up.
I mean, like $50-$60 a month here, there. Adds up.
Or like stuff on my website where it's like, you had a 13-cent fee for some service or whatever. Cam's like, I'm adding them all up.
Yeah,
like,
I actually take a little bit of pleasure in adding up all the little small deductions. It's like save $5 here, $5 there. Ooh, that's a lunch. Like that's gonna buy me dinner one night.
Yeah, but I mean, like honestly, how much time do you spend just compiling all of that stuff at the end of the year?
At least a full day. At least one full day. Usually bleeds into day 2, maybe day 3, a little bit here and there too.
Dude, I'm telling you, you gotta. So I need to get on your train where I get a video editor.
Yeah.
You gotta
I
get
need
on
to
my
go.
train
Yeah.
where you get an accountant, because like
Yes.
he'll just call me sometimes. He'll be like, "Hey, I saw this charge come up from this vendor. What was this for?" And I'll be like, this is, I bought wood at a new place." He's like, "Cool, sounds good. See you."
Yeah.
I don't
I
even
need
have to
to.
go on
Yeah.
QuickBooks and like classify anything or like
Yeah.
any of
That'd
that.
be nice. That'd be nice. Yeah. I'll probably do that this year.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's fantastic.
It really is. And especially because tax season always comes at like a relatively busy time of year for us. If tax season was like in the middle of the summer, you'd be like, all right, it's
July.
quiet then, whatever. I can spare a couple days to do it. I'm like crunch mode right now. And last thing I want to be doing is looking at Excel spreadsheets.
Oh, I know. Dude, I know. But you got to do it. You got to get it done. You got to get it done. I got the pleasure of overpay. So I guess we should rewind. Do you have to do quarterly estimates in Canada?
No. If you can opt to do it, and if you get to a certain scale, I believe it's mandatory. But if you're like a small business, then you can do just single once a year filings.
Oh, that's nice. But then the problem with that, okay, so we should rewind. For everybody who doesn't know, with Zach and I being self-employed, all the income that comes in through, things we sell, sponsors, YouTube, you name it, right? It's untaxed. So like if you get a $1,000 check in a month or something like that, it all comes in and you're like, oh, this is sweet. It is 100% on us to hold, whatever your tax percentage is, hold that amount of money back and then pay your taxes on it. So a lot of people get into this situation where they bring in all their money and then they spend it and then they go, hey, you've got, thousands of dollars of tax bills, and they go like, I don't have the money.
Yeah, I spent it all.
Right. So you basically just save it up in like a savings account or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. I have one of those high yield savings accounts.
Right.
Yeah, that's my hack, is that I actually just don't spend any of the money I make. I just sit on it, because I'm always so scared. I'm so paranoid of being that person who spends too much.
Yeah.
That when tax time comes, they get completely screwed. So I just don't spend any of it unless I know that it's like something that I can 100% write off. Then I'll spend it willy nilly, because then it's like, okay, that's fine.
Right.
But like personal stuff, it's like I'll be looking at like a $40 pair of pants and be like, I don't know, I can't write that off, so I don't think I should spend it right now. I'll wait till the end of the year once I've like cleared everything. And
once the taxes are all paid and you're like, okay, now I can withdraw money from the business.
Yes, exactly.
I know what you mean. So what I have to do, for everybody else who doesn't know this, in the States, you got to pay a quarterly estimate. So basically, you have to kind of guess or estimate, hey, here's how much money I made this quarter. Whatever you say, your tax percentage is 25%. Okay, you made $1,000 this quarter. You need to then send the government $250 for taxes. Right. So I have to do that every 3 months. And like remembering to do that and like setting that money aside, it's a skill, man.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. Like sometimes you get these, you get a big sponsor payment. You're like, oh, I'm rich, and like,
nope.
Well, maybe I should treat myself. Maybe I should go out and get a little something. And it's like, no. Need to be careful. Need to keep that money set aside for the government, because if you get on their bad side, it's
dude. I'm telling you, every single person had to pay pay taxes, and it wasn't just automatically withdrawn from your account. There would be a worldwide revolt.
Yes. I think so. Well, people will realize like how effing complicated the tax system is, and how, it's completely different when you stop working for a big company. Well, stop working for anybody else and start working for yourself. It's a big administrative overhead.
No, I still there's some comedian I saw that was like talking about taxes, and they're like, so like when you're an adult and you have to pay taxes, it's this kind of like shell game. The government knows how much money you owe them, but they're not going to tell you. And so they want you to guess.
Yeah.
But then if you turn in the wrong amount, they're immediately going to tell you. It's like, why don't you just tell me how much I owe in the first
Yeah. I mean, it's a funny joke, but I legitimately think these days it's like, I don't know that they know. I think if you give them a number that seems suspicious, you're like, I owe $3 in taxes. They're like, yeah, I don't know about that. Then they start digging under the hood, and then they figure out what you owe them.
Right.
And they are perfectly capable of doing it, but I think 90% of the time they just rely on people being truthful. It's it's kind of like it's the honor policy until you raise a flag or something like that, and then they really dig into everything.
Yeah, that's what you call an audit.
Yes. Yeah.
It's nuts, man. I'm so glad I'm so glad it's over. We signed all of our stuff. Ended up owing like a couple $100 or whatever. So we were really close.
That's not bad. No, you were really close. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I would rather owe than get a huge refund and be like, oh, I could have had that in savings or like made at least a little bit on it.
Yeah, true. I mean, once you get your business to a certain point, like it really does. We're complaining about the administrative overhead, but getting all of the money up front, you can actually make that work for you. Because if you take all of your earnings and you put them in a high yield savings account, if you, let's say, to make it like actual numbers that like mean anything, let's say you made like $100,000 and you just put that in a high yield savings account, you might get what, 5-6% on that. So that's $5,000, $6,000
for doing
you make
nothing.
an interest.
Yeah.
And then for doing nothing that you then you pay your taxes at the end of the year, but you already made your interest throughout the year. So it's and somebody who's working a corporate job, you give all that money to the government right at the beginning, like as you kind of pay as you go, and then
per paycheck. Yeah.
They don't give you interest on that money.
No.
So I mean, there is the administrative overhead, but we also there is an advantage to getting the money up front.
Yeah.
So,
but then you also have the things like in our line of work where we do work and then the contract stipulates that you may not get paid for 6 months.
Oh, dude, sometimes I would at any given time. Sometimes I sit down and just think about how much money I'm owed at any given time from, like, let's say you have like 3 or 4. It's not unlikely to have like 3 or 4 brand deals that haven't paid me at any given moment, but the work's all done. I'm just kind of waiting for the check to arrive in the mail,
I have
figuratively speaking.
I have a list, and I have 4 on my list right now.
See, this is what I'm talking about. And you're like, well, we're really nice to have all 4 of those payments right now.
Right.
Net 30 and like, God, some companies do net 60, and they do weird things where it's like it's net 60, but it's also 60 days after the campaign ends. So you're like, okay, so it's really net 120.
Right. It's a challenge for sure, but hey,
it
is what it is.
That's what it takes to live the dream.
Yeah. Tax season, at least for me, is done, and
that's good.
Hey, don't say this, but is your background's okay? I see you have something behind you. Is that one okay?
That one's okay. That's
okay. Okay, sorry.
Yes,
just making sure. Everybody else, stay tuned. We'll be
we'll talk about this a little more foreshadow. We'll probably talk about it next week. I think we'll have some pretty.
I noticed. I was like, is he trying to be in front of a specific something?
People who are watching the live stream right now, I've changed around my camera angles because I have something that can't be seen on my workbench.
Yeah. This is exciting. This is an NDA kind of thing.
Yes.
I've got an NDA related call later this week. Ooh. And I'm just as I'm sure you were thrilled about the NDA thing that you've got going on.
Yeah.
I'm really, really curious to know what this thing is because this company that I've been working with for a long time never had to sign an NDA.
Interesting.
So it makes me believe this might be something big, but I have no clue what it is.
That's exciting.
So
the NDA didn't say what the thing is?
No, it was just very lawyery, bird law specific, hereto, therefores, and you don't really know what it says and all that kind of stuff. But
sometimes I've signed NDAs where I'm like, I would never
channel away.
No, but I'll sign NDAs. It's like I wouldn't have told anybody anyways. Like this is like the most boring information ever. This NDA that I signed, I was like, I want to tell people this is exciting. It's cool when you get to like, I don't know, when you're working in a field that's like you are very much interested in, and you actually
Right.
get to see things before they go to markets, it is actually very exciting, because
Right.
I would be the type of person who would be waiting for the release day of this particular product, like very excited for just to find out about it in like news release form. And here I am, like I actually have it a couple of weeks beforehand, which is
I
very cool.
know. I
Yeah.
know. And it's but like you said, it's in a field that you're interested in. So like if somebody was like, "Hey Eric, this new company's coming out with a new leather belt,"
Yeah.
I'd be like, I don't really care. I'm not
Yeah,
into leather,
not the most
leather
exciting.
goods, right? But like if you'd hit me up with a brand new 3D printer and you're like, "Eric, you can't talk about this," I'd be like,
Yeah.
"But I want to."
But I want
Right.
to tell all my friends about it.
Or a new woodworking tool or something like that.
Mhm.
Were you ever the person, or are you still the person that, excuse me, will listen to or watch like the press conferences like live when they release? Like I know, like
Yeah.
I know Apple used to do it where they do these live press conferences, like the new iPhone or whatever.
I'm not the person who will actually watch it live, because usually they're pretty theatrical. It's usually like a 2-hour long event to say like,
Yeah.
hey, the new iPhone's going to have a better camera. But I will usually be the guy who reads the summary that comes out at the same time.
Okay, so like let's say the event's at noon or whatever. You'd be like
Yeah.
noon 30, or like refresh, go to
Yeah.
whatever news.
I'll check my
place you
favorite,
go.
electronics blog and be like, oh, the new iPhone has a better camera this year.
You're
That's
like, "Oh,
very
cool."
interesting.
Yeah, but you're not going to sit and watch the 45-minute press conference or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, I've never gone that full hog, I guess. I don't know. What would you
Whole
say
hog?
there? Yeah.
I don't know.
I've never gone that whole hog before.
It's one of those sayings that nobody actually knows what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, I don't know if you had a chance to watch it. Our good buddy Suman is in the live chat right now. Did you happen to see his video about the testing screws?
Is that new?
Yeah. I think Suman put it
No,
out
I haven't.
like this
Looking at
weekend.
YouTube.
Within the last week for sure. Dude, it was crazy. Like the information that you learned from it, like. So
sorry, I'm
don't
going
wanna
quiet
ruin
right
it
now
for
because
you.
I'm trying to pull up his channel right now.
Oh. Well, he's on YouTube. It's Woodcraft by Suman.
I know. I thought if I just typed Suman, it would come up, but it didn't.
Mm.
Oh, look, it's performing really nicely too. Congrats, man. That's awesome. Okay, well, I know what I'm going to watch later tonight. Oh, I lost Eric.
Oh, I'm back. Okay, I kept talking. I didn't know what happened. How many views does it have?
He's almost up to 40,000 now.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, 3 days ago. That's pretty good.
Nice.
So I'm excited to watch this.
So this is not actually it is. It's a promo for Suman's channel. If you haven't watched it, he tests stuff. So
Yes.
like test the things you wouldn't think people would test. So he's like, hey, this most recent video is like, I'm gonna test screws, because everybody's like, don't use drywall screws in woodworking. He's like,
yeah.
Is there any merit behind that?
I
It's
think
super interesting.
What he does a great job of is taking these, kind of traditional wisdoms. Like people always say, oh, you have to let wood glue sit for, you have to clamp it for 30 minutes or an hour. And he actually puts like real numbers to it instead of just these kind of like oral traditions that we're so used to just blindly following.
Suman, I got one for you, and pardon me if you've done this before. Especially because the new festival one's coming out. Oh, I hope. Did they announce that?
Let's just pretend they did.
Okay, well, let me hold on. Yes, they did. Okay. So Festool has a new HEPA air filtration unit that you hang from the ceiling.
Okay, yeah, it's right on the front page.
Okay, Powermatic has one. Jet has one. Grizzly, like everybody has these like air cleaner, air scrubber things. Suman, I want to know, so they do all these tests where they're like, oh, we made this 2-foot by 2-foot box, and like, look, it sucks up the smoke. Okay, great. In an actual shop, does it do anything? And if it does anything, how quickly does it lose its effectiveness? So like say you get a brand new Powermatic, whatever the hell it is, Big fan scrubs there. What? Now, how soon does it lose its effectiveness? We either have to replace the filter or clean the filter. I think that'd be pretty interesting.
Yeah. I think, Suman, correct me if I'm wrong, but he attempted to do an air quality video that never saw the light of day. It was actually more challenging than you might think to do air quality testing.
Did we talk to him about this at Workbench Con, or maybe like during one of our shows? Did we discuss this?
Possibly, yeah.
Because I know he got some of those like 2-inch by 4-inch like air quality meter things.
Yeah.
But now it seems like anyone that does air quality tests are using one of those. Now I'm like,
yes,
I got that from Suman.
Yeah, maybe.
But very curious, Suman, to know if those work.
Okay. He said, yes, I can tell you. Yes, they work in an actual shop, effective for particulates, not for VOCs, but loose numbers only.
Okay. So if you got a bunch of dust and stuff in the air that, it's going to do well. But yeah, that makes sense with VOCs. Like that's not what they're meant for necessarily.
Yeah.
It's like airborne particulates, dust, and
I think that's actually a misconception that a lot of people have. Like, I think people see N95 masks and assume that those work for VOCs and fumes and stuff like that. It's like, no way. It's like anything that's like paper thin is only ever going to protect you against particulates.
Yeah.
What's
interesting about that is I had somebody reach out to me, and I genuinely didn't know this, and I feel like an idiot. You're spraying lacquer, you're spraying something really nasty, corrosive or whatever, and you put on the organic vapor filter on your respirator, right? Not like the little pink wafers that's for dust, but like the one that like makes it so just horrible, VOCs don't smell very bad.
Yeah.
Did you know that they are only effective for like so many hours once you expose them to certain chemicals?
Oh.
So like you don't just get like a cartridge and then like you're good for a couple of years.
Oh. So wait, when from first exposure, does the clock start ticking, or is it like number of hours exposed? So like say hypothetically spray paint degrades the filter.
Sure.
I put on my mask, I spray a table base or something like that, and then I put my mask away. Can I then pick up that same mask in like 6 months and reuse it?
So that's what I had been doing, but like I looked more into them, and some like I can't find it right off the bat, but it's okay. So this is from 3M. If the filter is not open and safely stored, they have a shelf life of 5 years.
Okay, still a pretty long time, but not.
But so like in my head, and I'm not super up to date on this stuff. I'm like, well, I mean, if it's not open, it lasts indefinitely, right?
Yeah.
No.
Huh.
Oh, so okay, Suman just clocked in. He said from first exposure, the clock starts. If you keep it in a Ziploc bag, it's good for longer than if you keep it open.
Yeah. Okay.
I genuinely never knew that.
My policy, and I don't suggest that anybody else follow this policy because it's almost certainly wrong, is if I'm wearing the mask and I can't, like, as long as I can't smell the spray paint while I'm wearing the mask, then generally I don't worry about it. But I don't think that's actual proper procedure.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, I saw this is from 3M. 8 hours of use is the average cartridge life. But I don't know if that's 8 hours of you sucking in VOCs.
I would assume that's like actually using it in a VOC-rich environment.
Let's be real, though. You and I have done way more than 8 hours of breathing through those things.
For sure.
But so like contact cement, contact cement's awful.
Mm-hmm.
You get an instant headache. I put on contact cement just about like a month or so ago, and I didn't smell anything. Is it still working?
Right.
I don't know.
Are you frying your brain? I mean, I also wonder how much of this is written by lawyers. They're like, it's probably fine after 5 years, but like we can't guarantee it because you don't know. And it's like you don't ever want to be on the wrong side of a lawsuit when you're a big giant company. So, yeah.
It's like I told you when I worked in the food industry that they put like expiration sell-by dates that are way, way, way more conservative.
Yes.
So on most foods, it says like, "Oh, sell by January 1st." You're fine.
Yeah.
Obviously, look at it. If it's like moldy, don't eat it. But
yeah. I give it the smell test. I open it up. I smell it. If it smells okay, then I eat it.
do you do the dance where like you and Sophie are getting stuff out of the fridge for dinner, and one of you, or you're making something, and one of you goes, this sauce expired 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And you look at the other person and kind of give them like the, huh? What do you think? And they're like, oh, it's fine. You're like, good answer.
I would say that goes down differently in my household. Usually it's her looking at something. She'll be like, this expired 2 weeks ago. We should really throw it out. I'll be like, give it here. Let me smell it. And then I'll smell
so you
it.
try to talk her out of it.
I try to talk her out of it. Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Ours is more of like a 50-50. Like we're both frugal people.
I see.
We'll both be like, it expired 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And we're like,
see, I think I'm the more frugal of the two of us. And she's also more safety conscious than I am. See, I'm a dangerous mix. I'm both frugal and not very safety conscious.
Okay. So what do you think the most the thing that you are most not safety conscious about on a regular basis? Would it be quality of food, safety of food? Would it be around tools? Would it be driving? What would you think it is?
Interesting. I mean, I jaywalk all the time.
Oh,
I'll just cross whatever street. So if I get hit by a car, I would not be surprised. I don't know. That's a great question.
Yeah.
I'm not a super safe driver either.
Yeah.
I think I'm pretty good around tools.
Yeah.
I mean, but it depends. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Safety squints.
I will do safety squints. Especially depends on the setting. In the shop, I'm pretty good. On job sites, I'm like, whatever. Just I got to get through this and get it done.
Yeah. The one thing you don't safety squint though is if you're grinding or cutting metal.
Oh no way. No way. Yeah.
Dude, I will put on glasses and safety squints if I'm grinding metal.
I'll do it for like the miter saw and stuff like that, where you're like above it. It's like I can't even like see the blade when it's cutting. So I'm pretty sure there's no way for chips to like get in my eye.
I feel it. Oh, we got an answer from Suman. He said it depends on a lot of factors, but boys, change your filters every 4 to 6 months at minimum.
Okay, that's good advice.
Oh, Suman, you're not going to like me, my friend.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I've had the same filter in my mask since 2019.
Right.
All right, I'm going to buy some right now. Well, not right now, but I'm going to write that.
But after the show's over.
3M filters. All right, it's on my list. On my list. All right. Well, what's been going on in Zach's world? You've been working on any projects, any videos, anything? Are you out of sponsor land?
No, I'm not out of sponsor land. I keep getting more and more like stuff kind of piled on. I've completed the majority of them. I'm mostly out. I spent last week doing a good bit of 3D modeling and design work for an upcoming video.
That's fun. I enjoy that.
I do enjoy that quite a bit. So that's for another game console project. I'm kind of picking away at that. The aforementioned NDA'd tool, it has to be used in that video. So I'm basically doing all the prototyping, all the early work with my old tools. And then once I get access to all the software I need and all that stuff, then I can start filming with the new tool.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I want to ask, Careful. Yeah, okay. That's what I'm trying to... Does new NDA thing come with a new NDA computer program?
I don't think so.
Program?
Definitely an update to how do I say this? Definitely I'm waiting for some beta software before I can fully utilize it.
I understand. Yeah. I understand.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, this is going to be hard for us to talk. We'll talk about this more next week. Okay.
Yeah. Let's scrap that topic. What about you? What have you been working on?
Dude, I have been hammering through working on my first course. So,
that's
exciting. Script was 100% done. I did all of the parts that I'm like, reading to the camera. I basically set up my And I think I mentioned this last week when Keith was on the whole.
Yeah.
I was reading the parts to the camera that I'm like, okay, welcome to lesson 2. In this lesson, we're going to be talking about blah, 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 right? Did all of that. That alone is almost 2 hours after I've cut out all the pauses.
Wow.
And
are
so
you using
now,
some sort of AI tool to cut out the pauses, or are you doing it by hand?
doing it by hand. It's
Okay. Yeah.
It's honestly, with the teleprompter, I was doing really good.
Yeah. You get into when you're using a teleprompter, you can kind of sometimes just get in the zone and just kind of go.
What I had, yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And what I had done is after each thing of like 3 or 4 sentences, excuse me, I would pause and then just go like, I'd take a bunch of, somebody had emailed me a while ago and I was talking about how hard it is to read and do voiceovers. They were like a voice coach or something like that.
Oh.
And they said, when you start reading that much stuff, you do have problems with it. So take like, after a couple sentences, take a couple really big, deep breaths because you're not breathing normally. And so you'll start to get like the yawns and stutters and stuff like that. So do a couple deep breaths and then do some like just like nonsense and then do a couple sentences. It works super well.
Do you ever notice when you're editing your voiceovers, or in this instance, you're like editing maybe A-roll too, is that you'll say like a big long sentence and then there'll be this big super, like it's a big breath in. No, it's it for me. It's in. I'll be like,
oh yeah,
and then I can actually see it in the waveform. I'm so adept at like editing my own vocals now. I see the breath, like the air intakes. I can see it. I'm just like, okay, cut that. I don't even need to listen to it anymore.
Yeah, it was rough, but I made like a hot tea.
So I was like drinking. Said.
Simone said drinks hot water. I made a hot tea with some honey in it because I was talking for like 3 hours. Well, the A-roll alone was 3 hours. So like that's me crazy. Talking and the parts that I would cut out and stuff, like there was hours worth of talking. I was exhausted after it. But
it must be a full day of just talking to the camera.
Yeah, but it's going well. And the problem is the front end of the course is a lot of like explanation and math. So I'm going to do like a lot of like overlays and visual aids of like, here's a cabinet door. Then you like draw a line. Then you put a text overlay to be like, this is 20 inches.
Are you doing that all with SketchUp models, like SketchUp model on screen and then like text overlay in your video editor?
Yeah, I'm doing some of that and finding just some Google images and then also, like stuff like that. But dude, that is brutal.
How often do you do this when you're working on a video and you're like, I need an image here? And then you go on Google Images and you search the thing like cabinet door and you drag it into your video editor and you're like, I don't know if I have the rights to this image. Like, I don't know if it's okay. Course, not such a big deal because it's going to be buried in a paywall. Probably, at most like a couple thousand people are going to see it or something like that. So you don't have to be that worried. But like sometimes I'm thinking, I'm using a YouTube video. It's kind of commercial use. So I get a little, I try to avoid using anything from Google Images unless I absolutely have to.
I know, I'm the same way. And one of the things I've done recently is like at the very bottom of the screen, I'll do like source. I'll put like the source where it's from. I have no idea if that
does that. I know I do that a lot.
Anything?
What I'll do is I'll do it a lot for video clips. I'll take other people's YouTube videos. I'll take like 3 or 4 seconds. Usually it's because I'm referencing somebody else's video. I'll be like, my friend Eric showed a very cool technique for how to laminate something, whatever. Yeah. And then I'll show like a 5-second video clip from your video, then say source, but I don't know if like somebody was like, I don't like that Zach did that, or I don't like Zach. I wonder if they could copyright strike you, even though you say source and you attribute them and link them in your video description and all these things.
Well, it could be problematic. Let's happen. Say you're working on a video and you're like, yeah, and I saw so and so do this, and this is the complete wrong way. Make sure you don't do this.
Yeah,
that might make somebody want to go after you versus like, hey, check this out. Like,
For
this
sure.
is inspired by them. This is so cool. Blah blah blah. Like,
yes. I try and always do it in a way that it's like I'm very much promoting their channel. So there's not, like go check it. Like I did, I think in one of my videos I said, you can even with the right plastics, you can 3D print car engine parts. And then I like linked to, and I was like, here's a great video explaining the whole process. And then I showed like a couple second clips from this guy's video.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, I wish I knew. I feel like there's so much gray area in that avenue that I truly don't know what you're supposed to do.
For sure.
But dude, the course is going well. I'm having, once I get through the, obviously with like the whole cabinet door thing, you have to talk about like, okay, your opening is this big. You want this much overlay, or you want this inset. Here's how much all these different parts and pieces have to be. There's lots of math.
Yeah.
Once I get into the part where I'm actually showing and stuff how to do it, I think it's going to be very simple to edit it and actually fun because I don't have to be unbelievably concise and so worried about audience retention. I can just explain it.
Yes.
And
in all its gory detail.
Yeah.
You just spell it out. Yeah. Interesting.
And I'm curious to see how it goes.
It must be freeing to do that because I'll write an explanation of how I do something in a YouTube video, and it ends up being like 3 paragraphs long. And you're like, okay, I need to find a way to condense this. And you cut and you cut and you cut until there's just like the barest little bit left. And you want to include all these things. Like, I feel like sometimes on YouTube, you get forced into saying something like the impact driver is the best way to drive screws. And then it's like, but what you really want to say is the impact driver is best most of the time, but in this scenario, the drill is better. And then in this scenario, a hand screwdriver is better. And then this scenario, this other tool is better. You want to give all these caveats, but because of audience retention, you're just forced to say that most of the time, the impact driver is the best way to drive the screw.
Right. You have to be concise and just kind of say what you're saying without actually saying it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and that's
like you really have to, as a viewer, you have to like read between. I'm very careful with my words in my videos a lot of time. Like I will say like most of the time this is the best, or outside of certain scenarios like this is the best way to do it, or something like that.
No, I totally get what you mean. And sometimes like you're like, I don't know how to be more concise with this and still be valid, and you struggle with it a lot.
But then when you're doing a course, you get to go as in depth as you want to go, right?
Right. And I think that's why like this course is so freeing. Like I don't care how long it is.
Yeah.
I'm just going to explain it. And I don't know. I mean, this is one of those things, I like how Scott had talked about, where he's like, I know that I'm taking time off from producing other videos that be growing my channel and stuff like this, but you're putting a lot of credence into like, maybe this is going to be something big. And like, honestly, if this turns out to be something big and I can make more courses and stuff like that, I'd have a blast. It's fun. To really deep dive. And like, don't get me wrong, it's a lot of work, but it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
And
so now you've been working on this course a lot. Has that derailed your normal video production, or have you been doing kind of both at the same time? Have you been kind of splitting your time?
No, it's derailed. As I finished the laundry room, I haven't done anything since that. So I have one video in the hopper, and I have a sponsor for it.
Okay.
My plan is to that video has to come out in April. So I want to get this course done so that I can launch it with that video. Because it's going to be all about the laundry room. You're naturally going to be like, oh, and if you want more details about this, how to make these doors or whatever, like I made a 3+ hour long course all about it, So it is kind of stressful though. Like I feel like oh my God, now I only have one video in the hopper right now. Yeah, but I think the editing of the course will go faster once I get through the math part.
For sure. And, you can always, if you want, you can always try and outsource it.
I know.
Yeah.
I've definitely considered it. Definitely.
I mean, especially, I mean, see how it goes. But if you want to do more courses in the future, but simultaneously maintaining an output schedule on YouTube, it might be something that you have to do.
I know. And then the other thing is, this is, I mean, the good problem to have. With my most recent video, I did the miter saw station thing. I launched my first 3D printing product. I put the STL file. So for everybody else, it's like the digital file. So if you have a 3D printer, you can download this and then print it at your house. I launched that and the physical version of it. It's done better. Well, the digital file has blown away my expectations.
Okay, so you're getting.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
The physical file has done way better than I have thought.
Okay.
And I've gotten a ton of emails from people being like, hey, I'd really like, I like showed I had like a battery mount wall and stuff like that. Hey, I'd really like to buy some of those battery mounts from you. Like, I've got a lot of people that are like asking me for additional 3D printing things. So now I'm like, well, do I start like really investing into like making these 3D printing products? I feel like I'm just being, in a good way, getting a lot of positive and reinforcement from things. But now I feel like I'm getting pulled in other directions. You know what I mean?
I mean, that is
it's
a good position to be in, but that's kind of where you find yourself as a content creator a lot of the time. It's like, which avenue do I pursue? Because they're all kind of gambles, right? So you're like, which gamble do I think has the best chance of paying off?
I know.
And that's tricky.
But the 3D printing thing for me, I struggle with because it's kind of like we talked with Jonathan. Like, how different does my version need to be for me to feel okay selling it?
Sure. Right.
So like you and I, you've seen the things where people have a track saw and they put the little caps on the end to protect the ends. Thousands of people make those.
Yeah.
So am I ripping somebody off by just being like, oh, I made these, I designed it? No, you didn't. You literally just saw that somebody else made it and you made your own version.
Yeah. Yeah.
I struggle with that.
I mean, with something that's so ubiquitous like that, I'm almost like less, if I don't know, if it were something that was really complicated and had interlocking parts and somebody went to obviously great lengths to engineer and design, I would feel more bad about, quote unquote, stealing that design than something that's so simple that anybody could kind of dream it up. Because I think we both know that the trick in a very simple product is actually the marketing, right? That's where you're kind of like you're promoting it through your channel, because anybody could design something like that, right?
Oh, 100%.
And as you like, there's already hundreds of people out there who are making it. So now actually the hardest part of the equation isn't the design work, it's finding an audience or finding a potential buyer for that product.
Right. But I would feel, excuse me, let's say I made the little caps that go on the end of a track saw, right? I would feel disingenuous selling that product unless I had a unique spin on it. So, like for example, the rails that I made for the festival containers, tons of people 3D print them, but I've never seen one that slides out in the mechanism. That I made. So like I don't feel disingenuous selling that, right?
For sure, because you've yes and it almost like you've taken it to a whole other level, right? You've added like new functionality to it that nobody else had.
And like if somebody's like, oh, you just copied this, it's like, do you want to look how I went like version like 80 on Fusion 360? Like there was a lot of design that went into that. But now
that's
I'm
tricky.
like,
well,
I just want to farm it out.
Let's turn the question around now. Like, say you're watching, I don't know, who am I going to throw under the bus here? Let's say you're watching a Scott Walsh video, and he's like, hey, I made these these sliding mounts for your sustainers.
Sure.
You can buy them on my website, Scott. Well, how would you feel about that?
Oh, see, because like Scott and I are good friends, right? I'd be like, I'm
Yeah.
sure Scott's aware of what I'm doing. So part of me wants to be like, oh,
I mean,
he only got
maybe
that idea because he saw mine. But I don't know that.
maybe Scott's a bad example then, because there's a high likelihood that Scott's going to watch one of your videos and see it. What if it's some content creator that you've never met before, never interacted with before, comes out with a very similar product?
So is your question like, am I assuming that this guy ripped me off?
Or even like, yeah, well, like, how would you feel if you saw a similar product out there? I mean, would you infer that they have in fact ripped you off, even if you had like no evidence of it?
I think you may, but
Yeah.
also like I think it's very close-minded to think that your idea is in a vacuum and no one else has ever had this collection of thoughts and ideas that has led them to this conclusion, right?
Yes. Yeah, because you do kind of have to like assume one way or the other, because you know that hypothetically that person might never have seen yours. They might have just
Sure.
invented it themselves. Like it could just be whatever you call it, parallel thinking or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Parallel thinking, I think, is a perfect example, and also like we can both be successful, right? Like we both can make a parallel product that serves our audience well, and there might be zero crossover of the audience, and so it's a win-win for everybody. Like, your audience is being served, my audience is being served for something that they genuinely want.
It's kind of interesting as content creators, because we really only are selling to our audiences, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So even if somebody else rips off your design completely, they just steal your design and start reselling it. Well, you were never going to sell to their audience anyways. Unless, like, I guess there's the hypothetical crossover, the Venn diagram of people who are following both you and this other person.
Yeah.
But that's probably like a vanishingly small number of people. So I don't know, it's very weird, very interesting to think about.
So like, think of it this way. Your audience is not my audience.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure there's probably, like 1,000 people between us, or 2,000, something like that. Like crossover between our audiences.
But if
it's not nothing, but it's not the vast majority of our audience.
No, I wouldn't say 90% of the folks who watch your channel watch mine.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
Yeah. Maybe 10. 10, I think, will be like 10% will be on the high side.
Oh yeah, I would say it was probably single digits for sure.
Yeah.
So, let's happen to say that I don't know. I made a new safety glasses, right, or whatever. Just the first thing on my desk.
Yeah.
And then Zach, you're like, hey, dude, I think I want to make some safety glasses too. And I'd be like, cool. Like, you end up making your own pair that's slightly different, but we end up using the same manufacturer and kind of like, went in on startup costs and this and this and that. I wouldn't be mad at you because I'm never going to sell to your audience. You're never going to sell to my audience. Yeah. And like, we're just leaning into the idea together.
Yeah. Honestly, talking out loud about this, we should probably like do like, if you ever come out with a product, or I ever come out with a product and we think we could sell it to our corresponding audiences, we should just like work out some sort of, licensing deal or something like that. Like, I'll try and sell your drawer slides on my channel and we split it like 50-50 or something like that. Yeah.
That's not a bad idea. Like, okay, what's clearly my audience is somewhat engaged in the whole 3D printing thing. So like, I'm spitballing here, right? We come up with some sort of product that makes 3D printing more efficient, or this or that. Well, that would be work well for both of us. So like, if we designed this thing together,
sure,
and then we sold it cross audience, cross platform, it's a win-win for both of us.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, not a bad idea.
Thinking about for the future.
Maybe for this this NDA mysterious product that we don't have any idea what we're talking about.
Maybe
might lead into something.
I have a product that I have a product that I've been working on, and I keep kicking the can down the road because I've been so busy with stupid sponsored content.
Is this an after show?
Yeah, maybe we'll talk about it in the after show. Yeah,
I'm
that's
gonna write it down.
It's very simple. It'd be easy to steal, so I'm like a little hesitant to talk about it on the main show. But I think it. But again, why am I being concerned? We just spent the last 10 minutes talking about why I shouldn't be concerned.
Right, and
yeah,
there's some interesting chat going on in the live chat of like,
oh yeah,
you have these ideas of everybody is like Suman made an example. He said all the Traxall brands are copying each other with the depth stop setting, and they all fit on the same track. Like,
right.
Just do it and carry on.
Yeah.
I
mean, honestly, like, I think, I don't know. You're really just selling to your own audience.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, you're really, at the end of the day, I don't know. You're not really taking sales from somebody else, but maybe that's just post hoc justification. I don't know.
But I feel
it's complicated.
You and I feel like we're saying the same things. That in general, we're the people that are like, I would just feel bad.
Yeah. It feels
maybe that's
icky.
why we're not good business people.
I know, right? I know. Leaving money on the table by just not ripping off everybody else's designs.
Yeah. But I mean, like, okay, let's be real. If you wanted to start a 3D printing business in like the woodworking space or whatever, dude, you could come up with endless ideas of things to sell.
It's true. Having a 3D printer really unlocks, like, you can make the simplest jigs in no amount of time.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. I want to get more into making tool modifications.
Oh, we've discussed this. Like, you feel like that is, you've mentioned that's kind of like your bridge with your audience. You thought of like connecting the tech enthusiast 3D printing people with some of the maker DIY folks of how to blend, kind of intertwine those people.
Yeah. Like, imagine, like, we've talked about, We've talked about all these tools throughout this show where we're like, I wish it had this, or I wish it had that.
Right.
Why doesn't, I can't count the number of times I've been like, I wish my impact gun had a bit holder on it.
Right.
Like, DeWalt sells one that's like a singular bit holder, but it'd be really nice to have like Phillips Robbie Torx all like right there on my impact gun, ready to go all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, why don't I just get off my ass and design like a little piece that, straps onto the top of the impact gun, the side of the impact gun, that holds all three of them?
The problem is they have, here's the problem. Mm-hmm. Every impact gun is completely different, right? Yes. So you would have to effectively buy every single impact gun out there and customize this thing to fit.
True.
So then you're thinking, okay, we'll just make a universal one. Well, they have universal ones that are these like awkward, like Velcro straps and stuff on there. But like, let's be real. That's an eyesore.
And you want something that clips in or is like sleek in some way or another. But we both know that you could take the part that holds the bits. That's the standard piece. And then you're basically just have to like engineer the little bit where it connects to the handle of the impact gun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like there's so much room for improvement with so many tools.
Yeah.
And with a 3D printer, the cost of it's basically just your time.
Yeah.
Outside of that, it's, man.
I have to say, one of the things that I struggle with is like, how do I say this succinctly? I'll look at stuff and I'm like, yeah, I could come up with a solution for that, but I just don't want to have one more thing laying around. Like, I feel like I've simplified most of the things that I've owned, like, to a dramatic amount.
Yeah. It's a good way to live. I spent a good portion of the day just throwing stuff out that I don't need and setting aside stuff. It's like, okay, I'm going to sell this on Facebook Marketplace because I don't need it.
I know. Like, I mentioned this. I got some new tools and stuff that came in, joiner, planer, whatnot, and I just gave away my other stuff.
Yeah.
because I don't need it. I don't need 2 bandsaws.
Yeah.
I don't need 2 jointers. I don't need 2 planers. Like all it is doing is just taking up
clutter.
It's just clutter. I would rather just have somebody who's going to use it and be super excited about it. And the stuff's great. It's great condition. It's just get rid of it. I don't need so much clutter and so many pieces. And like that's truthfully kind of how I feel about a lot of these like accessories and stuff. Like, do I need a cap on the end of my track saw rail? No. And so then I feel disingenuous selling something that
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, I think it depends. If you're the type of person who uses their track saw every day and a little cap on the end of it's going to save you time, then it's worth it. But if you're the person who uses your track saw on a monthly basis, a quarterly basis, something like that, then it's just kind of one more piece of clutter that you have to keep around the house, right? So it really depends on the use case. Funny story before we end this bad boy and go over to the after show, talking about giving things away. A pair of shoes in my front closet this morning. I was like, these are still in nice condition. I never wear them. So I put them on the curb in front of my house. It was like, somebody will walk by, somebody will pick them up. I put them out there at 9:30. At 10:30, I looked out the window and there was a different pair of shoes where mine were. So somebody was walking down the street. They saw my old shoes. They took off their current shoes, put on my shoes, left their old ones, and kept walking.
This is the title of the episode, the one where they swap shoes.
The one where they swap shoes, yeah. It was like, it reminded me of a hermit crab. Where a hermit crab will see like something that
sheds the shell.
Yeah, it sheds the shell and goes to the new one.
Well, I got to ask you, were the shoes that were left better or worse?
I think worse. Yeah.
Maybe you've inadvertently started. Have you seen those things where people put like the little like miniature? It's like an extra large bird's nest miniature house that you're supposed to like put books and stuff in.
Yeah.
Maybe you started a shoe library.
Yeah, shoe library. Yeah, maybe. I swear that is one of the best parts about living in the city. I just put stuff in front of my house and it goes.
Yeah. Oh, dude, like I put. Now that we got the house, I put like if I get stuff delivered, I put like pallets and whatnot out there.
True.
Done.
Some woodworker is going to come take that and turn that into a $500 table.
Oh, I know. Man, I miss the days where you could. Actually, I don't miss the days where you build stuff out of pallets. It was a nightmare.
That sucked. That was. I'm glad that trend is dead.
Yeah. Hey, you know what trend isn't dead?
The after show.
The after show, baby. So right now we are heading over to patreon.com/offthecut podcast and hit the after show. We've got a question that's kind of similar to what we've been talking about. And I'm curious to hear your thoughts about it.
Okay. Let's do it then.
And we're going to talk about that product idea that you keep kicking to the curb that you don't want people to steal, but maybe our patrons can steal it.
Yes. If a patron stole it, I wouldn't mind. That'd be fine.
Right. So, we're going to head over to patreon.com/offthecut podcast. Check out the after show. And if you don't want to head over there, that's cool. We will see you next week.
See you, everybody.
See ya. I'm going to give a huge shout out to our returning top tier patrons. Corey Duvall at Woodcrafts and Honey. Josh at Sawdust Bills. Joe Welsh at Delaware Valley Workshop. Goblin Spanker.
Can't say that anymore.
And Dadu's debit card did work.
Bingo bango, you're done.
Zach, to be honest with you, I don't even know if I followed you.